Welcome back to Teresa's Dead. My name is Teresa and I'm very much alive. I have an awful garbage filthy mouth, so viewer discretion is advised. But if you're not into that or weird shit in general, this is definitely not the place for you. Feel free to exit the video here. No harm, no foul, but I'll remember our Tom fondly. Oh, hello my little pumpkins. I am excited but horrified for today's video. Why, you ask? Because I'm gonna expose myself. But not in the way that you think. That's behind a paywall. Today I'm gonna expose myself for the true clown that I am. Yes, I talk a big game, but I'm a clown deep down inside. So in today's video, I'm gonna be talking about the makeup that I'm embarrassed about. Some surprising, some really surprising. And I cringe thinking about putting my debit card information when ordering some of these things. But of course, if you are not embarrassed by any of the products that I'm talking about today, good job, honeybee. You're a better human than I am. Me and my shame is gonna be hiding behind the dumpster outside of Ulta. But before I get all Andy Rooney, a word from today's sponsor. Thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring yet another video of my garbage antics and keeping this girl well fed. I appreciate it. I've been using HelloFresh for years, and it all started because this garbage baby decided to take a chance and learn how to cook. Fast forward many years later, and while I'm no Gordon Ramsay, I can happily say that HelloFresh gives me the confidence to pretend that I am. With HelloFresh, step-by-step recipes are super easy to follow, and pre-portioned ingredients help me cut out prep time and prevent me from yelling at my make-believe sous chef Francine. I swear, I think she's trying to sabotage me. Anyway, as we approach spring, I keep telling Francine that we need to try something new. Take our taste buds on a trip and explore different global flavors without our passports. And while Francine is a naysayer, I let her know that we can achieve this and more with HelloFresh. Like, check out this pork and veggie bibimbap. This is not only delicious, but it only takes about 30 minutes to make. You hear that, Francine? Only 30 minutes. In addition, HelloFresh Recipes features produce that goes from farm to your front door in under a week, which means their spring menu features the season's freshest flavors. Don't waste money on food you don't need. All HelloFresh recipes come with pre-portioned ingredients to ensure you have just the right amount for each recipe and make you question if you ever needed Francine at all. You hear that, Francine? Because when you have pre-portioned ingredients, that means less prep for you, less wasted food, and less Francine. So if you're looking to try something delicious, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Teresa'sDead16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. Again, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Teresa'sDead16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. Again, thank you to HelloFresh for giving me the confidence of a Michelin star chef. I am a culinary monster that cannot be stopped. Okay. Let's start with something a little easy, a little light. Okay, we gotta ease ourselves into this one. Y'all know me. Y'all know I love horror movies. I am Teresa's Dead after all. I am a spooky bitch. And I'm a spooky bitch that has an affinity to horror movies. Or pretty much anything in the horror genre. So, when this was announced, I kind of lost my mind. But when I think about it, I'm like, why the fuck did I buy this? This is a brand where I have openly said that, yeah, I don't like any of their products. I've actually said on many occasions that they suck. Yet here I am caught in 4K, bitch, showing you that I am a true fucking clown. And if you haven't figured it out, I'm talking about Kylie Cosmetics. Yes, the same brand that's been putting out those fucking VC Andrews palettes, okay? And I'm not even gonna touch that one with a 10-foot pole because I know I will be on a list somewhere. Anyway, Kylie Cosmetics came out with the Nightmare on Elm Street collection. And listen, I'm not gonna lie, the packaging's kind of killer, okay? Like, the packaging's good, looks good. Like, I'm a fan of this packaging. But then you open the palette up, and you're like, what the fuck is this Christmas shit? And then it hits you. There's nothing Nightmare on Elm Street about this palette. You bought a shitty Christmas palette masquerading as a Halloween palette. God damn it. And you think, how is that possible? Oh, right, because you're stupid. You know what I mean? And I wish I could say I only bought this. I bought almost the full collection, okay? If I could, I probably would have bought the fucking PR box. Oh my God, I hate me. I hate me. So one of the products that I purchased was a cheek stain. I'll pop it in the corner. It's somewhere in my room. This thing permanently stained my skin for days. For days, bitch. And yes, it's meant to be a cheek stain, but when I think about it, it's probably the only realistic thing about the whole collection, because it's a blush that makes it look like you have shitty fake blood on your skin, so I guess kudos to them. And then I also bought the lipsticks too, which actually they're pretty good. But the palette is like the most offensive thing. But here's the thing though. And this is where it gets weird. So this palette broke me, okay? This broke me. It broke me mentally, physically, sexually, spiritually. It was so challenging to work with, but what I created was kind of pure magic. It was chaotic. From a palette that is just your run-of-the-mill shitty Christmas palette, I've created one of the fucking coolest eye looks I've ever created in my history of makeup. It was a green to red to white gradient, and in ways I feel like it represented Freddie perfectly. I know, I don't understand what I'm saying either, okay? Like, I'm embarrassed by it, but I also think I have Stockholm Syndrome when holding this palette because I know I should declutter it. It's not good, but I won't. And therefore I'm embarrassed that you're gonna have to rip this out of my cold dead hands, okay? It's not good, but it's good. Does that make sense? No. Again, I just wanna crawl in a hole, okay? So, this is something I'm embarrassed about. Okay. But it gets worse though, all right? It gets worse. Now, when this one came out, I lusted after this palette. This was definitely before I started YouTube. But there was a moment in time where every beauty guru was talking about this palette, and it just looks so fucking cool. And you're probably saying, well, what palette are you talking about? I'm talking about the Toasted palette from Tarte. Okay? The Tartelette Toasted palette, all right? I hear you laughing. Please shut up. When I tell you that I salivated over this thing, I'm not even exaggerating. I legit thought about this palette all the time. And anytime I was in the store, I would stop and swatch this. And I would look at it as if it was an old lover, okay? Like, I looked at it so fondly. Sure, we grew apart, but I will never forget that summer in 2002, okay? That's how I felt about this palette. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, why didn't you fucking buy it, you weirdo? And I wish I can give you an answer. I can't. I don't know why I didn't buy it. I would get close and then I would walk away. So I started doing YouTube, and slowly but surely, I forgot about this palette. No longer did my loins ache for this basic bitch warm neutral palette, okay? That was until a lovely subscriber sent me the mini version of this palette during one of my mail times. I was so fucking excited because I felt like, oh my God, this is my time to finally own this. The stars have aligned. We are finally meeting. This is our time. But here's the thing. I never had a chance to use it. I never had time to play with it because there was so much makeup that was coming out that I was doing reviews on. I just never took a moment to just stop and play with it. So I moved from New York to Florida. I pack up all my makeup, but there was that one box. One box didn't quite make it. Things were smashed into 1,000 pieces. When I opened it up, it was just eyeshadow and glass. It was a mess. And of course, right at the top of the box is my little dream palette, my mini Toasted palette from Tarte. I was heartbroken. So one day, fairly recently, I was drunk shopping with my patrons and I ended up on the Tarte website. And I figured, fuck it. I'm drunk, I might as well buy it. So I bought it. And after 3 weeks of going back and forth with Tarte, because one, they sent my order to New York, then they sent it to me, but then it was missing some things. And then they sent a new order out and it came back, palette was smashed. Then they sent a new order, but they sent it back to New York. And they finally sent the order. And you know what? This fucking sucks. Like, it's fucking bad. It's bad. It's not good. All this time listing over a palette and it's hot water trash, okay? Everything is just so stiff. It's so stiff and hard to work with, and the longevity is shit. It's terrible. I don't know what the fuck people were talking about back in the day. This is not good. Unless they change the formula, this isn't good. Will I declutter it? No. You know why? I'm using this palette to remind myself that sirens exist. And if there's a reason why you don't buy it, it's the universe trying to protect you. And you shouldn't go against the universe. I learned my lesson with that one. All right, so when I think about the next palette, I'm embarrassed because I really like it. And everyone, I think, high-key hates it. Listen, sometimes Urban Decay is awful. Hold on, let me rephrase that. Urban Decay doesn't hit the mark most of the time. And if this were a high school reunion, Urban Decay would be the person that peaked. Do you know what I mean? No, I don't want to egg the principal's house. No, I don't want to do donuts in the football field, Billy, okay? Everyone else grew up, but here Urban Decay is doing the same shit they did in high school. I used to feel like every other palette that they would put out would be a grand slam. But these days, not so much. There is a lot of mediocre, shitty palettes amongst every good palette. The Urban Decay Cyber palette is kind of special. It's kind of like that secret love you had in high school. You remember Josh, right? You wouldn't be caught dead with Josh, but behind closed doors, you're letting him touch your blouse bunnies. You know what I mean? The outside packaging is, oh my God, it's fantastic. And I wish the inside energy would match the outside packaging, but that's fine because what you have in here is pretty fucking solid. It's better than you expect. Now let's not get nutty here. You should never pay full price for this, but this is a great sale palette. Sure, it's not perfect, it kind of lacks dimension, and it's a little bit too orangey at times, but it's a home run for what this brand has been putting out. And yes, while the color story is not quite what I remember Y2K to be about, again, the quality is solid and the longevity is good. Like, it's one of my favorite Urban Decay palettes. And if you're someone who likes soft makeup, this is your jam. I think that's what I like about it, is that as much as I appreciate something like a wham bam, thank you ma'am, you know, like I want to see fucking pigment for days, there's something nice about kind of like softer duochromes. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting older in my age, but sometimes I kind of like softer makeup. So kind of like your secret lover, you shouldn't be embarrassed by this. You should be able to declare your love in front of everybody in the cafeteria. But you also want to fit in with the popular girls, because you know, like Tiffany's gonna be having a bitchin' party next week, and everybody and their mother's going. So like, maybe after that you could tell people, you know, that you love Josh. So the next one is just stupid, and I'm embarrassed by it because I haven't even used it yet. So when I moved down here, I went to my local Ulta and I got talked into this palette. Now, I don't have many Morphe palettes because I think for a minute back yonder, many yonders ago, much like a lot of people who consume YouTube back in the day, I think people were a little bit stigmatized by Morphe. Sure, the palette had 35 colors and it would give you so much anxiety that you didn't know what to do with it. But every guru talked about it, so like, it must be good, right? They wouldn't lie. Anyway, so when I see Morphe, I'm usually just not phased. Like I just don't care. The quality it's okay, and I feel like that's being generous. I think it took me a while to understand that I was paying so much for something so mediocre. That said, I got talked into this palette when I was at Ulta, and that is the Morphe X Nien Fierce Fairy Tale palette, and I hope I'm saying that correctly. I don't know the creator, they seem very lovely. So this is more of me being a clown for being talked into a palette like this. A palette that I really just had no interest in. It's pretty, but like, I don't need it. But I think above all else, what's even more embarrassing is that I haven't even used it. Yes, I've swatched it, but I haven't put it on my eye holes. And I think it's because deep down inside, as soon as I try to put this on my eyelid, when I ultimately know that there's no pigment within this palette, I'm gonna feel even worse about it because I paid for this at full price. Fun fact about me, I have anxiety, and my anxiety is weird sometimes. For example, if I know something is gonna happen, I won't watch it. For example, I stopped watching Game of Thrones because I got to the Red Wedding episode and everyone around me kept telling me little details about it, ultimately spoiling it because people couldn't shut the fuck up about Game of Thrones. But because I knew what was gonna happen, my anxiety grew to be the size of a fucking house and would not allow me to watch the episode. So much like that episode, my anxiety won't let me touch this palette because it knows what's gonna happen, and it's saving me. It's saving me. Is it stupid? Absolutely. Not denying that. But I think this will be my last Morphe palette. I say this now, but watch. I'll buy something in the future. I know me. I'm a clown. Anyway. Listen, I love saving the best for last, okay? Because I'm about to show you something so fucking embarrassing it hurts. Y'all know me. You know I talk a lot of shit, especially when it comes to Makeup Revolution. I don't hold back. If you have watched countless makeup bingo videos, then you know my vitriol when it comes to this brand. It's so fucking sweet you could slather that shit on pancakes, okay? Like that's how sweet and syrupy it is. But every now and again, they get me. They pull a fast one on me. And at first, when thinking about this list, I was just gonna talk about the Treehouse of Horror collection. Now, I was fully aware that it was gonna be garbage, but I still pulled the trigger because I love The Simpsons that much. And specifically, my favorite Halloween episodes of all time are from The Simpsons. Just like the first 10 seasons, not whatever this version is now. No, I don't claim that version. I claim the first like 12 years of the show. Honestly, I love The Simpsons so much, right? There's not a day that goes by where I don't quote The Simpsons. Me and Alex's relationships is built on love and Simpsons quotes, okay? Like, it's that serious. So that said, I was gonna dog myself about the Halloween collection because, you know, it wasn't great, you know, like it was garbage, most of it. There were some few gems that were nice, like the highlighter, but overall, like the packaging, it was kind of lazy. It was fucking lazy, but I still bought it because it was The Simpsons. However, they recently launched the Summer of Love collection, and I don't know what happened. But the next thing I know, I'm giving my debit card information and using the code TRENDMOOD to save 10% off my order. And this collection just arrived at my house. So I figured, why not do an unboxing together? Now, I will say that I did show some good judgment, okay? I did not buy any of the palettes. The palettes from the Halloween collection were fucking terrible. Had common sense to know not to get those palettes, but I picked up everything else. I think their eyeshadow in general sucks. Like, every now and again they'll throw out a good banger, but I feel like ever since kind of finding the avocado palette, like, it has never really exceeded my expectations. I got the makeup bag. Oh, you best believe I got the ombre highlighter, the dewy blush, the dewy bronzer, and I got all the lip tints. I don't have any other words except I'm a fucking clown. And as punishment, I'm gonna sit here for the next minute and just hang my head down in shame. Because while I do love The Simpsons, there's no fucking reason why I should have purchased any of this stuff. And the only excuse I have is because I am a weak fucking bitch. So if you want to see a review of those products, just leave a clown emoji down below. Now I want to hear from y'all. Let me know your clown-like purchases that leave you embarrassed and ashamed. Let me know so I can judge you too. Thank you again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. And with that said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it as always. Feel free to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, it's free, and hit that bell icon for notification of all my future posts. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Patreon, to all my beautiful, wonderful patron bubbies. Thank you so much for keeping this delicious, disgusting, filthy, embarrassed, ashamed, really embarrassed, really ashamed, gross, garbage boat afloat. Couldn't do without you. I love your adorable little delicious faces, and I'm just mortified over my behavior. And with that said, I will see you little pumpkins later. Bye.